With my new lifestyle, I'm planning on doing some world travel every year. In this year, I'm going to be going to Ireland for 4 months, and the following year, I'm hoping to go to South America. So those are some of the things I'm planning to do with the new remote lifestyle that Jordan helped me secure. My life before I met Jordan Carroll, I was at a time working in a Tesla factory to pay the bills. And I knew that I wanted to work remotely, but I didn't have the career experience to make that transition. So I just had this job that I was uninspired by just to survive. But in my evenings, I was already starting to reach out to people on LinkedIn and do volunteer work, basically get experience at any cost. So I was moving forward slowly, but it definitely was an uphill battle where I'd already been applying to work for companies for a year, and I would be lucky if I got an interview, and if I got the interview, I would be rejected. So I definitely was ready for that next step up. And I was in the practice of, as I mentioned, networking on LinkedIn when I learned about Jordan, and I thought that he might be able to help me take that next step. I had just paid my taxes and I had pretty much no money left in my bank account when I was first meeting him. But I wanted to meet him and see what he was about. And after Jordan heard my story, he said to me, "Yes, I believe I can help you." And he talked about what his course would entail and what the coaching would be like, and ultimately what the price was. And at the time, I hesitated at the price because I had no money. But Jordan asked me, how much are you willing to invest in yourself to get to the area of life you want? And that really spoke to me because I'd already been in the practice of paying for lessons from coaches who were already living the life I wanted. And one other thing that really came out of the conversation is I was already extremely committed to getting a remote job. I'd already been volunteering with people and networking during my free time. And I think Jordan really felt that as we were having the conversation. And after our discussion about how much I was willing to invest to reach that next level, it showed me that this could be the next way in which I commit to that path of remote work. So I told him I couldn't pay the money right away, but I was committed to making this transition in my life. And he asked me, "How much can you commit right now?" And I told him I have $25 I could commit at the time, which is certainly a lot less than I'm sure any coach would want to normally accept. But Jordan really felt my conviction and decided to take a chance on me and I decided to take a chance on him, where we made this agreement. Okay, I will pay $25 now. And as soon as I could find a way, I would pay him what he was owed. And sure enough, later that month, when I raised the money to pay him back for the bill, I did so. And that's how we met and started working together. I saw a transition in how I looked for remote jobs. Before I met him, I was applying for any remote job I could find that looked like it fit the bill and relatively within my scope of experience. But one of the most important lessons Jordan taught me is I had to get targeted and specific about what roles I was going to apply to. I couldn't just apply to this digital security position or that, data entry position. I needed to choose something. And it was that encouragement that not only helped me get more targeted with my career, my applications to jobs, but also with how I thought of myself as a professional. I slowly started making a transition from this generalist into a public relations freelancer and ultimately a marketing freelancer. And that specificity is very valuable, not just for finding jobs, but in how I express myself, in how I explain to a potential employer or client how I can be valuable to them. So that was a very, very large transition. I was already active on LinkedIn, but I became much more strategic about what I put on my LinkedIn profile and how my LinkedIn profile and LinkedIn activities were reflective of me. And that made a big difference in growing my network over the following year. Awesome. Those were two of the biggest changes I noticed in an immediate sense. And there were many other ones that sort of have taken time to develop that ultimately reached fruition when I became a full-time freelancer. Little things like getting targeted, working on LinkedIn, but the biggest unexpected thing was actually gaining experience working with Jordan. After I'd been doing the coursework with Jordan for a while, he saw that I was committed to the path, but I think he really saw that I didn't have the experience to fully use the advice he was giving me. Where even if I did everything right with the resume and the LinkedIn and all that, I just didn't have the digital remote experience. So Jordan actually offered for me to do some work with him, where I would help him get guest spots on podcasts. And it was a really valuable experience practicing some early public relations and marketing skills. And it's just so important to have actual experiences to point to. And it's so difficult to get them the first time. So I'm incredibly grateful for that unexpected boon of working with Jordan. Quit working at the factory where I was working for 12 hours a day and wasn't allowed to listen to music or, micromanaged by the boss very much. Now, what you see is my office. So I get to work here. I get to listen to music on my Alexa. I have the peace of being able to work within my own home. I am now a freelancing marketer with 5 clients, and that list is ever growing. The work I'm doing is much more engaging than anything I've ever done. Like at the factory, I'm not even going to talk about that. But I've done hospitality, I've done bartending, I've done a variety of things that are all pretty interchangeable and replaceable. Now I'm doing SEO keyword research. I'm helping design 2 courses. I've developed YouTube videos. I'm helping with the hiring process. All of this stuff is very high level and very exciting for a person as intelligent as I am. Everything else just felt boring, honestly. So I have a remote career to the point where I can keep on developing my career as a freelancer, or I can use all those experiences to make a far, far better pitch to work for a globally distributed company. I have that option. And I also have a much stronger network, with Jordan being a major part of it, and professionals I've been introduced to through Jordan, with whom I'm learning quite a bit from, and they're also helping teach me how to express my value, whether I choose to continue hiring clients or work for a company. So there are some very, very big benefits. It's been one of the most transformational experiences of my life, working with Jordan Carroll. So for anyone thinking about working with Jordan, and if you have any doubts or questions, what I would say to them is Jordan cares very deeply for his clientele, and he's very knowledgeable about the recruiting industry and how we reflect ourselves and our public reputations. He's a person who's not afraid to tell you things like it is, which not everyone can handle. Some people can't handle being criticized, so to speak, but it's very important to have someone who can tell you honestly how you are doing and show you the way forward from that. It's really valuable for a learning experience, and I think that Jordan does that excellently.